Why are blacks so racist? I got a blemish right here and I don't have any medication to put on it. I don't have any type of mascara or anything like that. Any makeup I can use to put on it. I just wanted to say that I have a black friend and I have other friends here, but where it was before, I've always had a black friend my whole entire life. If you ask my mom, just out of the blue, without me knowing that you're asking her a question, she would tell you that at a place where it was only whites, if there was one black family in there, she said that I would find them. I was like, yeah, whatever, mom. It sounded kind of like bullshit to me, but it's true. I've always had a black friend my whole entire life. So now I know exactly where you all are coming from because I have a black friend who keeps bringing it up with me, and I keep trying to tell him I don't want to talk about racist stuff. I don't like racist things. I like positiveness. I like talking about plants and animals, the planet, owning my own property, a good paying job, a family, having little children, uh, and of course, I'm not been married, so I'm concerned about that as well. Every man, I'm sure, that hasn't taken the plunge yet would be concerned about who they meet and what women they're going to be with. As far as long term goes, so I'm overly cautious and overly careful, maybe to the point where I won't maybe ever be married, but I really honestly believe I'm getting married when I'm about 40 years old. Don't ask me why, but that late and that old, and it's not too far off from where I'm at now, and that's where I think I'll be. But anyways, back to the conversation. My friend, my friend Ben, um, always tells me, yeah, every once in a while he gives me hints after hint. He'll be like, yeah, we're gonna burn this motherfucker up. We're gonna, Ice Cube used to be my favorite rapper. Not that he isn't still my favorite rapper now. It just have slowed down a lot from listening to hip hop. So I do news. I do a little bit of hip hop my own self, but I don't consume myself fully in it. And plus, um, lately a lot of rap music, old rap music that I like, that I used to listen to and stuff like Public Enemy and all that other stuff really kind of drives me nuts now, and it makes me very, very angry. For some reason, it starts pissing me off. It makes me really, really want to act violent and bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid guy from the Kool-Aid commercial. And I mean literally, like I'll kill myself if I can't get through that wall. I'll just keep bouncing through it. So mad for some reason. But anyways, they are lied to and they're told that they had helped build all of America, and that's not true. People who were paid employees, people who worked like a normal job that you would see today in normal society, is what built all the cities and everything else. If somebody had black people building something in America, um, then it was something private, and it was definitely off of the where everything else was what do you say, surveyed, because they did a lot of surveying and other things like that back at the time, and there were not if there was black people involved, they weren't slaves. They were well-to-do black people. So that's another misconception, that people think all black people were slaves, which is not true. To a certain point, they made it maybe too political, like what they're trying to do today. So white people and black people probably really hated each other, and probably more so white people in the South hated them because black people have always been used as a political tool for politicians. And now you see a guy in the White House who I am convinced is not, I know for a fact that he's not, and everybody else does too, that his bloodline is not from being owned by anybody or being a slave. Barack Hussein Obama's bloodline is from something else. It could be dark, it could be sinister that nobody knows about and nobody's talking about. I truly always believed that he was the type of black person or whatever he is that were um, capturing black Africans before they were sold and put into slavery. But Obama was the type of person, his bloodline, his roots, anyways, was the people that went and caught them and told the Europeaners where they were and sold them to the people who put them on the boats and then took them around the world and sold them. They say a small amount of Africans were even sold and bartered here in America, so it wasn't even that predominant. So they'd make it, there was only 2% of all whites had slaves, and they want to argue that nobody protested or did anything about it. And this is why I call myself Pilgrim. I call myself Pilgrim now. It's my new nickname. I told people if they would please call me that. And I only had one person that I know that respected that. The reason why I call myself Pilgrim is because the Pilgrims were the only people that were standing up against people being oppressed into slavery um, all around, but they were fighting for Africans being slaves here to be freed from almost from the very beginning. So they started doing that in the 1600s, and the other white people said that overthrew the rule or told them, no, your protest doesn't mean anything here, and it didn't help them out. Was that they said that, oh, those pilgrims don't even need slaves. Well, pilgrims were in a position that people that had slaves would, if you were to have one, would have could have used one because they're farmers. They are all about livestock and whatever else, but yet they went ahead and portrayed the pilgrims as being, you know, they've got some evil plot or plan protesting against other people having slaves. Like they wanted to even the playing field by taking everybody's slave away from them. So I call myself Pilgrim. But regardless, the things that like my friend and other blacks think that when they all form together and they're gonna tear up all of our cities in the whole country, that's what they think they're gonna do. They believe that it's because they were whipped and whatever else put into a situation where they had to build all of our white people stuff is not true. Um, I just seen a really racist video. I'm going, you know what? I'm almost really like tempted to like send this sucker to the police and ask the police about this. I'm gonna go into I'm gonna do a screen share real quick and I'm gonna show what this guy's been saying to me on this first before I show you this video. Alright. This guy has this conversation with me. This is ridiculous. What does this guy say? Whites use welfare 10 times the amount blacks use welfare. 10 times. Okay, let me clarify one thing right here. Okay, welfare is a government state. It is what the government puts people in, regardless if they're black or white. You look at the minority of blacks, and you tell me what percentage of blacks are on welfare compared to the percentage of how many whites or the majority are here, and you say 10 per times the amount of blacks, Well, is there 10 times the amount of whites, or is there more than 10 times the amount of blacks? Whites here than there are blacks. So none of this guy right here makes any, and all he says here, look, the fact that the rest of the white population did not go out or revolt in the streets against the slavery of other humans is just as bad as them owning slaves themselves if they were true Americans. Yeah, see, and that's how I give you my argument about me being called a pilgrim. And I said, yes, they did. They did protest against it. And not everybody owned a slave. Only about 2% of all whites even had the money, could even afford to purchase a slave. So there's your black comments that you have. See, and this right here, I think is disgusting. He spells America like that. America. And then I want to show this video right here on my channel. It's in my history. Blacks racist. This right here. Melanie TV. I'm not sure. This lady Melanie needs to go to jail. The guy that hit her, is it against the law? Let's look her. Let me see if my screen share is working right. It looks like it is. Okay. Is on a nigger illegal? A person a nigger. It may not be illegal depending on the state law, but it is highly emotionally charged and can lead to claims of racial discrimination, which is illegal. Okay. But one thing I did see the lady do that she can be charged with in this video right here was when the guy got too close to her, she spit in the guy's face. So that's assault. Anytime you spit in somebody's face, is assault. And here I just went over on my naturally aggressive channel. That's what it's called. Let's see if I can go to it. Aggressive channel right here. My naturally aggressive. See this? I did an hour long mutual combat in Florida, where two people fight legally in Florida. So we can go look at that video. I only have one view on there because evidently YouTube lets me do all these videos but thinks that I deserve to not have popularity or whatever. And it's a collection of them and other people on YouTube. So I think that they're all a bunch of pussies. So why are they so racist? all I can really tell you, racist assholes that are, because I know that some black people aren't racist too. And as much racist as my friend Ben is, he still is he isn't a complete 100% jerk or completely a moron 100%. But still I lose the sense in these people when I'm trying to expose something and trying to say, hey, why are you so racist for? Why are they so racist? Anybody explain that one? Why? So all I can tell you. Jimmy Kimmel accidentally proves how racist blacks are. Okay, all I'm gonna tell you right now is that you can go look it up. But black people did not build America. Okay, they came here on a boat. Yes, they did. It was evil what white people did to them. Yes, it was. But Not only that, but they could have. I also seen it was a black man who did this other video that I seen, and he said that if they really cared that much about it, they could have just died, right? Because he said white people did it. White people fought so that they wouldn't become slaves and stay oppressed by England. So, and many of us died. We got hung. We had, they were doing things like they would disembowel people at the time. So they were showing doing morbid things, just like you see ISIS do. I think ISIS is really weak. All the things that I ever seen them do, even they could do the most disgusting, most morbid thing to a person. Like when they set those people on fire, hung them upside down and burn them from up, from their head up or whatever the hell they do. I just think that they're weak. They're weak people because they're trying to push a radical agenda that is what we're all taught, like to hate Christian. What people are taught to hate Christians over. I'm a Christian, so I don't hate it. Like I said, I'm a pilgrim, but to be oppressed or pushed around for somebody else's religion, but yet the Muslims could come here and could push there and oppress us with their religion all they want. It doesn't make any sense. But still, regardless, if black people could have just died instead of surrendering, they came here. It was a um, a sacrifice that they made. It was something terrible that they did. And this guy on this comment, he was trying to argue with me and tell me that, the world would be so much better. The world would be so much better if they would have had left the blacks alone and wouldn't have stripped Africa of all of its resources and blah blah this and that. Africa is the hugest place on planet Earth. You could go there and you could strip stuff out of there for 1,000 years, and that's about the only place that I know of that will recover, that could recover drastically. How huge it is. So I have no idea how people keep coming up with these silly remarks and these silly arguments to why they have a right to be so hateful and mean, So they got they got this woman really pissed. However it is, I'll admit she's a racist. So what? I really don't care because I'm white mostly, but I also have Native American blood in me too. But the fact is that I really don't care because I reside in the South now, and I'm from the West Coast. And like I said, I've always had a black friend. I never really been accustomed to black or white people that much. Maybe a little bit of white racism, but I didn't stick around. I didn't sit there and freaking wallop in it. But even if I did, it's still, so what? You're being a hypocrite. You're telling this lady that she's a puke for being a racist. This lady right here is a puke for being a racist. Okay. Um, when in fact, black people are, or I've come to discover, are some of the most racist people I've ever heard of in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that at the end, but I'd really like to, um, I would really like to protest this because black people can say whatever they want. They can say, call you a cracker. They can say, tell you, oh, we deny you to come even in our house. I mean, like, I don't, people don't have any necessary need to go in other people's houses, anyways. But I just want to know, you want to call this woman a tirade, say that she had a tirade, or this guy did, and then ignoring the fact of how hypocritical what hypocrites black people are in this country, because they think that they have a right from something that their ancestor went through that they didn't even go through. They have no idea actually what it's like to be a slave, to have to say massa, to have to abide by what your master tells you what to do. So um, really, I think it's disgusting for them using that and being this way when evidently all along, whether this lady's a racist or this black person's a racist or these people, whatever, we're all people here. We're all people here, and we're letting the government get away with making all these social programs, welfare, um, tell all these people lies, distort history, tell people about the Confederate flag. We let racists use the Confederate flag, but still, white people that know a little bit about history, know about what the South went through, know that the North um, basically did like what they did to one of these other countries out here, um, where they wouldn't honor or respect what the Southern man was doing for the industry altogether. So they wanted the South to pump out more cotton, to pump out more food, and pump out more stuff that the South was fundamentally used to the Northerners, and the Northerners wanted to pay squat diddly for it, and they wanted to get rich. So, and it's a fact that they turned that thing around on the Confederate flag to get away from the fact that Northern people owned slaves, and that they were still endorsing slavery. And I don't even think slavery was even illegal in every state. It was just illegal in the South, and the South made it illegal their own self. So we're up to this point in time now. We're never gonna solve this riddle. We're never gonna be able to get past that, right? As long as we have people here that act bitter and let the government make them uh, feel like they're like some big outcast, when in fact all that I've seen from the West Coast standpoint, anyways, is a big embracement for Black people and to try to help them become successful and to be at par with any other white person, if that's what Black person wanted. If a Black person wanted to be successful, he wanted to go to politics, he wanted to go to the military, anything. We did not want an unequal uh, effect going on with anybody for any reason. If somebody comes into the military, um, the military should look at them all as men and women, and they're the same. So they really, really aren't. I see people, and it's mainly Black people, aren't able to let go of this racist thing, and they're really holding on to it now. So they embrace, hatred and bitterness from the past, something they didn't even go through, and it's really ridiculous. And all I can say is I don't support Black people being racist. I don't support a, a white woman being racist. For whatever reason, this woman right here is she's mad. So we did not get the whole entire story. All we got again was your one bit why it's cool, why it's so cool to for a guy to slap a woman. You just seen a guy hit a woman for what she said, and they pissed her off. Wow. And she's asking for her boyfriend or whatever to show up there with her. I don't know what the answer is for them. All I can say is I need to know the whole story. And if they provoke this person, for some reason. It was just out of the blue, and then she started acting racist. I'd really like to see that black guy who hit her. I'd like to see him beat up silly. But really, but most of all, I don't want to push for anything illegal. I would like to see him go to jail. I like to see him go to jail. So now I'm gonna go see this bullshit update for this racist white woman that spit on the black man, but she spit on him, but yeah, he didn't. You didn't just see him beat her ass, right? I'm gonna mute this so that maybe they might tell me I have a copyright thing or whatever, but I can't let you hear what this lady's saying because it's on somebody else's video and I'm just sharing it what goes down. She said, yeah, he goes, you call him a nigger? She's yeah, I called him a nigger because he's acting like a nigger, you know. So whatever reason they pissed this lady off. That right there, that's what I was talking about. So regardless, she assaulted him with that, but have him to do tape record her. Yeah, I would just be provoked to get a stun gun or a pepper spray or something like that. I just wouldn't even talk to them anymore. I wouldn't talk to this person. This lady right here, she deserves to get herself beat up by her old man, her home boyfriend. This lady right here, I'll show you. This person right here, she deserves to get herself beat. If I ever hear you guys calling us acting racist or something like that, I'm not gonna do anything. But if you try and assault me like that, I will hurt you. And not only that, but if you treat me like a piece of crap whenever only at the beginning I was trying to be your friend or nice, just be polite guy and not even know why the hell you're so hateful or mad or trying to be racist for, I will just hate you. I won't hate you for a racist cause, but I'll hate you for being evil and for provoking people the way that you do and then acting like other people are provoking you. So I don't know why people can't let the past go and let it lie in the past, but that's what I'm fixing to do. And I don't know. Other than that, you can go to hell for all I give a rat's butt.